What's up, everybody? My name is Rodel, and I have my friend over here,
Anthony.
And we are doing a podcast called What's Your Five? We are going to start this off by really talking about what our top fives are for different topics, whether it be for music or for movies, video games, whatever comes to mind. I am from California, and I think that I'm working in technology for how many years now, but I love talking, and it was always something that I loved doing. And I think that doing a podcast was something that I feel was very necessary, especially during these times of COVID and all this other garbage.
Especially with your soothing, sensual voice.
And my soothing, sensual voice, indeed.
Which complements my high-pitched, nasally voice very well.
I guess so. I don't know, but that's a little bit about me. Anthony, what about you?
I talk a lot.
Yes, you do.
That's my thing. I talk a lot.
But you know what? Even if you talk a lot, it's relevant, right? Like there's relevant things that there's people that talk a lot, and then there's people that just talk too much, where you're just like, just shut up already. I don't really want to hear it anymore. So
we will find out.
We will find out.
We'll find out which one of those people I am. Let's see.
God, I hope it's not the latter, because man, I don't know if I can do this if you were like that. But we've been friends now for, let's see here. I think
I didn't even think about that.
I know we've been friends now for, God, let's see. My son was born in 2016, and then we met each other in 2016.
Oh, I was gonna say 5 years. It was my rough guess.
Yeah, no, it was 2016, and the reason why I say that is because we didn't know we were pregnant when we went to Vegas and we first met you.
I didn't know you impregnated me when you came to Vegas.
I did not. Yes, well, sometimes it happens that way.
Sometimes you just don't know. Just had a whole show about it.
And it's like, whoa, how did this happen? We found out after we got back from Vegas, and my son was born, and that was pretty much it. But that's when we first met each other, and I remember it. And one of my favorite lines that you said to my wife was, "I see you're Filipino, and I'll raise you a Filipino." That was the best line I've heard, and I'm just like, I think I'm gonna like this guy. And so
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was one of the things that really stuck.
The joke being that we both married Filipinos, unbeknownst to each other, because we had not spoken in quite a while. I could not have imagined that. Okay, so first of all, I've never even heard of a Filipino. Right. Until I came to Vegas, and it was much like when I moved to Florida. I had never heard of a Haitian or seen a Haitian. Closest I knew was a Jamaican. Then I come to Las Vegas, and it was Filipino people, and I'm like, what are you? Where are you from? How does that work? Are you Thai? And it's like, is this a subcategory of Thai? I don't know, because I'm very ignorant, because I'm from Jersey. I don't know anything about the world.
Hey man, it happens.
So like, wow, like what a coincidence. She's like, oh yeah, he's from. I was like, oh, you found one too? It was like we're collecting Pokemon or something. And I was just like, oh, I caught one too. Oh my God. Maybe we can combine them and they do something magical. I don't know.
But your girlfriend / wife now is quite an awesome person, and so I'm super duper fortunate to have met both of you, and it's really cool to be able to kind of move life together, with my wife and and your wife and you and me, and like being able to kind of see each other from time to time. It's just been such a great deal, and every time we talked, it's always been just conversation left and right. And I always thought, man, it'd be really cool if we just had a podcast, something just to kind of record us and be like, dude, these are really good conversations. And so here we are.
Yeah, and as I said before, I really think it's going to be a matter of 50% the same and 50% completely opposite.
Oh yeah.
I think it's going to be like with these lists that we're going to have lists where we have 2 or 3 that are probably on there, and then we're going to have lists that are like not even close.
Oh yeah, for sure. And so, I'm really looking forward to having that, because, we've had these conversations before straight through text, and I'm just bug-eyed like, what the are you serious? Like, what?
And people, I bet people are going to take sides. I've already started labeling these fans. I'm like, there's going to be people that are Team Rodel, and they're going to be, I call them the Rodelians. And I'm just like, they're going to be like, they're going to think I'm crazy with my list. And I'm like, the Anthonites are just going to be like, oh, yeah, he's totally right. Rodel's crazy. And I'm just like, yeah, it's going to be, I think there's going to be some overlap, and I think there's going to be a lot different. So I think it's, and that's why these conversations are so fun, because I've never had, and I tested this recently. I sat with some people and I told them about the show, and as soon as I brought it up, they got fired up, and they're just like, oh, well, my type 5 for this would be this and this and this. And then they start to get into a little argument about it. Like, why would you pick that? And I'm just like, that just tells me how awesome it is.
And everybody loves top 5s lists. I mean, you see BuzzFeed and all these other silly websites, you just go and you're just like, man, dude, like, really? Like, that's how it is? Or like, oh yeah, I totally get that. Oh yeah, that's, number one, Superman, Christopher Reeve was number 1 Superman. Absolutely.
Absolutely not.
We came up with 5 questions to kind of see a little bit deeper into our personalities, and so we're going to be answering 5 questions that came into mind, and we're just going to kind of get into it, just so that way you guys understand where we're coming from, and hopefully whether you disagree or agree, we'll see how it happens. So I'm going to start it off. First question is, what is something you spend too much time doing?
Okay, so for me, and I didn't, so I already knew that I was going to have to like determine how hard these lists were to make. Right. Because I started looking at it like, well, was that an easy list or was it a hard list? Mm-hmm. This so far has been a hard list for me.
Sure.
What do I spend too much time doing? I spend too much time working. And okay. I didn't even realize this until this question got thrown at me, because my original answer was something far more gratuitous. It was just like something random, and I was just like, do you really spend too much time doing that? No, I just spend more time doing that than I should. Mm-hmm. But is it too much? No. What I spend too much time doing is working. It's just like my work-life balance could be a lot better. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, you know what? When I wake up in the morning and I'm just like, gotta get up again. I'm not a morning person, and that's not the thing. I always believe that if you love what you're doing, you're gonna be fired up to get up in the morning. But I'm just like, when you start dragging your feet because you're not doing what you love, mm-hmm. like setting up for this podcast, I'm like,
oh yeah,
let's do this. And then when I get up to work, I'm like, why do I have to work anymore? And that's when you mm-hmm. know I'm doing this too much, because it's just like, you're not enjoying it anymore. It becomes a grind.
Sure.
So that was my answer for that, is that I'm working too much.
I wish I had that answer, but apparently I'm too much of a big kid. My too much time spending, all that stuff is really playing a lot of video games. I think a little too much, I would say. I'm a very large.
What's too much? Is that like 20 hours a week?
I
don't really play video games, so I don't know what's a lot.
So then I would say, okay, let's just say, so my son goes to bed like around 9:00. My wife, God bless her soul, will put him to bed and whatnot. And so I spend from about 9 to about 11, depending on whether or not I need to come to bed or not. So 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours a night, 5 nights. And then depending on the weekend, I would probably say, close to about maybe 3 to 4 hours, depending if I wake up that early in the morning. Sometimes I'll wake up early in the morning to the point where, nobody's awake. It'll be about like 6:00 in the morning, and then I'll just go to town on whatever I need to play. And that's another 2 hours or whatever the case is. And it's, is it benefiting anybody but myself? No, it's just benefiting myself. And
I disagree. If it benefits you and it helps you do your job better, then it's benefiting everyone.
I don't know if it really benefits anybody else but myself, or like if it really helps on anything. It just really just kind of it keeps me sane. I guess it keeps me sane. I will admit that. But at the same time,
if you were a doctor and a doctor says I spend too much time playing video games and taking my mind off of the reality of my job, mm-hmm. but it helps him be a better doctor, right? Because he's not burned out.
Sure.
Doesn't that benefit everyone?
Yeah, but at the same time, like, I could be doing a lot more things. I could be doing, I could be cleaning the house more. I could be cleaning my bathroom, or I could be, doing more errands. I could be working out. I am not the most fit person in the world.
I would take note that neither of us said we spend too much time working out.
Right, exactly. So I'm just like, no, you know what, man? Like, I'd rather figure out whether or not this boss
I
is going to
spend
really
too
keep
much time eating kale.
Or, man, I just ran those 2 miles today, man. That was just
I did too many push-ups today. That was the problem today.
Yeah, no, I don't work out too much. Sorry, that is not my forte. I'm sorry, but that's just so yeah, that's why I feel guilty, because it's just like, if I can take this amount of time playing a game, and investing myself into the $15 that I've spent on this game to spend like 40 or 50 hours on, I think I can spend some time outside walking, or I can spend, doing stuff, things that are productive.
Now reality hurts.
Now reality hurts. Oh my God, man. It's not fun, man. So that's question number one. All right. So that's the question number one. I think I did it pretty well. So top 5, question number 2 is going to be, who is your idol?
All right, so this was one of the ones that was like super easy for me because I've already known this answer forever.
Okay.
My idol. Did you want to take a guess at all? I don't think you'll come close. I don't know.
You know what? I'm gonna go personal on this one. I want to say it's your oldest sister.
No, nobody in my family is an idol to me at all. First of all, nobody in my family is a millionaire, so they're not even in the stratosphere of being my idol. Losers. My idol was Rod Serling.
Rod Serling.
Rod Serling, who created the original Twilight Zone. I don't care about all these iterations of the Twilight Zone. The original Twilight Zone.
No Jordan Peele Twilight Zone?
No, not the Jordan Peele version, not the Forrest Whitaker one that was before that, and all these other...
His creepy eye.
Yeah, creepy eye. Him and Whoopi Goldberg today. Yeah. So Rod Serling, and I know a lot of people don't know a lot about him because it's like the 70s and stuff like that.
Right.
But not only a great writer, wrote the original Planet of the Apes, and consistently went over budget with episodes and everything. But he really found a way to put messages into what he was doing. So every episode that he did of the Twilight Zone and the movies that he did were about something. It was usually about racial tension, racial divide, inequality with men and women, everything that he was passionate about. He found a way to put it into the episodes and put it into his movies. And he found a way to do it so symbolically. Like, you could take whatever movie or whatever episode, if you watch The Night Gallery or Twilight Zone, at face value, and you could enjoy it because he was that good of a writer. Right. But if you actually knew who he was as a person, you could see the statement he was making with it, like how we're being ruled by technology, and how divide between races and gender and everything was not right, because he was very liberal about those things. So I've always admired him. It's kind of a weird answer. It's a little bit of an answer that's for an older person probably, than people like, wow, Rod Serling, who are you talking about?
This is me.
Yeah. So I grew up watching the original Twilight Zone in black and white.
Okay.
It's one of the first shows I remember ever watching, and I was just like, wow, like, who wrote this? And truth be told, he didn't write most of the episode. It was Matheson that wrote most of the episodes. But it was the way he curated it, and the things that he fought for. And he's just like, look, I want this message put in there, and we're going to put this out. The creativity and the passion behind what he did. So it's an odd answer, but I already knew it. So that was an easy one for me.
That's kind of crazy, because I would have never guessed it, obviously. And if I did guess it, I probably should have bought a lottery ticket. And it's funny because when you said that, and I answer my guess was just because I've met your family before, and they're great people, a little bit crazy, but great people.
About right.
It's about right. So, and so I was just like, okay, I was thinking that was going to be the case, but and then when you threw out Rod Serling, I was like, whoa, all right, okay, I guess I was, yeah.
Well, who do you got? Who's your idol?
So I gotta say, man. So I'm actually going a little personal on this one. I'm gonna say it's my dad.
Did not see that coming.
No, I mean it's kind of a cop out, but not really. But I mean, my dad, one of the things that I really admire about him is the fact that he did something with his life. So before he came into this country, like he was in love with my mom, and like, and my mom, flew out to New York to do her residency as a nurse and all this other stuff. But my dad was just like, if I don't get out of this village in the Philippines, I'm not going to be able to do anything at all. Like I'm just going to stay here and just be nothing, like just I'm just gonna just stay here and play basketball, or just work at the Palenque, which is like the mini markets or village mini market, whatever you want to call it. And and so he ended up joining the Navy. And the funny thing is that like when he filled out the form, he filled it out wrong and didn't get into the Navy. His cousin, my uncle, had to fill out the form for him, and like and in order for him to get in, when this was during the whole like Americans going to the Philippines and recruiting and stuff like that. And had my dad not do that, obviously we would never be here. In fact, he pretty much kind of like petitioned my entire family to come, his brothers and sisters, I should say. And for him to do something like that is just like, to me, I feel is either really selfish or just something that he's just like, what, like I feel like I need to be something more. And so me admiring that will to be like, I need to do something more. He was willing to just do anything possible to get himself out of the situation they was in. And I base a lot of my life situations like that. Like I have one prosthetic eye. And instead of me trying to be like wallowing in pity or like, oh my God, like I got one eye and like no one's gonna love me or anything like that. It's just like, what? I got one eye. I bet it's better than zero eyes, right? Glass half full. A lot of things like that, and like it's just he has that mentality, and like he's still, God willing, he's still alive now, and he's doing fine. In fact, today, we were just playing mahjong, but
I did notice that about you when I met you.
Yeah,
the eye thing was not an issue, and most people, if you're missing a hand or missing a leg or something, most people are like, well, I lost my leg to that accident and blah 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 blah, and you'd be talking about, there's this place here that makes really good ice cream. Yeah, I'd enjoy it had I not lost my leg in that accident. And it's like they throw it in every chance they get. I'm like, you didn't even mention. I didn't even know about it until you told me about it.
Well, I mean, back, I'm very conscious about it. I still kind of am to this day, but I mean, I remember taking my eye out in front of you at one point. You're just like, oh, that's kind of cool. But then again, I mean, like you and your, I've heard so many stories about you going like, oh my God, like that's what happened. Like, how did that go about? Like, or like, like how did you escape that one? It's just whatever the case is. And so it's kind of like that's where I come from, or that's why my dad is such a big deal, is just because to me it's just because you make a situation and you just have to go through it and get yourself in a better situation for yourself. And I think that's very admirable, and that's why I idolize him in that respect. So
you got to move on. It's like I have so many scars from the things I dealt with, but it's just like, there's kids in Rwanda who's just like, yeah, I got hit with a machete in my shoulder. You know what I did? I went to school the next day, and then I killed a bunch of kid soldiers or something.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh yeah, you don't put it in perspective. You're just
exactly.
Like, so yeah, I totally get where you're coming from with that.
Mm-hmm. So that's just, as my dad, a little bit, a little bit emotional, but
nice
it's all
story.
good.
Here's a connection there. I actually joined the Navy as well.
Get out of here.
Yeah,
No way.
I joined the Navy when I was in college. I met a recruiter who was at the bus terminal, and I was on my way to school, college, and he just stopped. He's like, "Hey, you got a really good build. You ever been in the military?" And I was like, "No." And he's just like, well, you look like you'd be a good fit. And being a martial artist, I've always been in shape,
right.
And I've always been disciplined, blah, blah, blah. And so sure enough, this guy, he gets me interested enough. He's like, did you know we could pay for your school? Did you know I think it was like for every year you're in there, they pay for 1/3 of your school.
Right.
And nothing he said made any difference to me. He was saying dumb stuff like, oh, did you know Shaggy was in the Navy? I'm just like, Why would I? Is this your pitch? Because it's not gonna work. Because I could care less. It wasn't
me.
And that was just like it was only when he said that, because I think they still had like the GI Bill at the time and stuff. And they're like, oh, so every year we'll pay. And then it's like, that's smart. I was like, I could do school, I could go to the Navy, I could finish, and then I don't have any debt. That sounds like a good deal to me. Sure. And plus, I get to learn how to kill people. Like, so how awesome is that? I've always wanted to learn to do that. And then so that happened. They recruited me, or I took the ASVAB. Is what I took.
Okay.
So after I took the ASVAB test, I got in something in the 90s, so like in 94 or something.
Sure.
And so after that, they start drooling, right? They're like, oh, he's an alpha. Right. Must have him. They wanted to collect me. And then I got into an accident. Well, I say an accident, but something happened.
Something happened.
Something happened where I severed my main tendons on my arm. And then so my arm didn't work at all. And this was right before they were supposed to ship me out, because they were so excited. They're like, you can be a Navy SEAL, you can be a nuclear technician, you can do this and this. And then I hurt myself doing something stupid. And then and they were like, okay, as soon as you get better and you go through physical rehabilitation, and keep in mind, like, they were so eager to have me after I got the 90-something score.
Sure.
The recruiter, I told him, I'm like, well, I've got these I've got a suspended driver's license, and I've got this, and don't worry about it. We're going to take care of all of this for you. Don't worry about these tickets. Don't worry about a suspended license. So they go to the DMV and they take care of all this stuff for me. They're literally paying for this stuff, like off of my record. And then I'm just like, oh, I severed my arm. I can't go. And they're just like, okay, as soon as you get better, you tell us. Yeah, I didn't do that.
Wow. Can I tell you? So to segue into another story, I actually was going to sign up for the Army. And so it was close to out of high school, and I was supposed to take the ASVAB and all that good stuff. And once I got to the physical portion and they measured me, they're like, yeah, your neck is a little too big, or it's big. Yeah. And they're like, but it's okay.
I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, but we're going to work you out. We're going to go to the gym and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, you know what? No, I'm going to do this for myself, and you can go F yourselves, because I am not going to do that for the Navy, let alone for myself. So guess what? It's not going to go. And probably the best decision.
We're going to get you to do some push-ups. You want me to do a
what? Yeah. And so what's crazy is that I was supposed to go sign up with my buddy. And we were supposed to be in this like buddy program where we're all supposed to be stationed together wherever we're supposed to be. And had I actually got into the Army, I would have been in Afghanistan doing like 2 tours.
Eesh.
Dodged a bullet. So literally. And so I was like,
wait, so you still didn't have, so did you have the eye back then?
I did have the eye back then.
You must have, right? Because they would have automatically disqualified you.
Absolutely. And
could you imagine if you'd have been a sniper?
Oh my God. But my eye traumas didn't happen until, let's see, what year is that? 2007. So it's about 13, 14 years ago ish. Bad surgeries, to say the least. I wish I had a cool story about it, but I really don't. It's just bad surgeries. So, I mean, like, I wish it was like, I was in a bar fight, or, fighting ninjas, or.
Yeah, some 80s action movie type story. And then he broke a bottle in half and stabbed me in the eye.
I know, or like, or it'd be like.
Damn gator jumped up, but I took him with me.
Thanks, Carl.
He took my eye. I took his life. I win.
Move on to the next. All right. So. After the whole tangent, I think we're on question 3.
This is a perfect segue. I don't know what you're talking about.
I know, right? Jesus. Oh, okay. So, all right. Top question, number 3 of the 5. What was the craziest thing you've ever done? Ooh.
I fought several cops at once.
Okay. Wait. Before we get into said story, I want to ask, when you fought these cops, the first thing I imagined was a kung fu movie, old school style, where everybody was just attacking you one by one, and they didn't like group at you. What?
So, FYI, doesn't work like that in real life. Who knew? Who knew that they wouldn't each wait their turn to attack me? It was so weird. I was like, hey, You. Why are you hitting me while he's hitting me? There's obviously an order and sequence to this.
That's right. That's right. I know. But okay, so now I got that out of the way and made myself laugh. So, tell me, you don't have to go. I mean, you can go as in details you want. I don't care. But
so this was one of the harder questions for me because I've done a lot of dumb things.
Right. Well, dumb things and crazy things, they can be together, but
I've done a lot of dumb and crazy things, so I kind of had to pick. But given today's climate, I was just like, eesh, they could have shot me in the face and gotten away with it.
That's true.
Like literally, like it would have made they would have been scot-free. And now at the time, if you would have asked me, I wouldn't even think about like, hey, they weren't gonna shoot me. Yeah, I mean, this was post Rodney King, but not much else. This is before a lot of other things happened. So, long story short, I was at a rooftop party.
Okay.
There was quite a bit of drinking going on. Cops came, shut down the party. They're just like, oh, you guys are making a disturbance and blah, blah, blah. You all need to come down. Party's over, blah, blah, blah. They were actually pretty decent cops. Like, they didn't, like, make much of a problem. They're just, like, escorting us out. Like, okay, everybody get out of here. I had been drinking already. I was in pretty good shape, much better shape than now.
I think you're still in pretty good shape.
Yeah, for an elderly person, I'm pretty good. So these cops are basically, and I understand why now, and they're just kind of like shoving people along, like keep it moving. Hey, keep it moving. Let's go. Let's shut it down. You had a good time.
Right.
And so one of the cops gets me by the shoulder, and he's just like, "Okay, let's go."
Oh, no.
One of those type of things.
Right.
So I don't like this.
Right.
So his hand gets to my shoulder. As soon as he gets to my shoulder with his hand, I take his hand, I curve it back this way, right? So this creates a wrist lock.
Right.
I create a wrist lock, and I'm just like, don't touch me, man.
Oh, snap.
Now, I'm a pretty passive person. I'm not like somebody who goes out looking for trouble or anything like
You're not a vigilante?
I don't go looking for justice. The justice just comes to me. So he did that, and it was more like instinct, and I think it was more like my senses were dull because I had been drinking, and I was probably all like amped up on my own, just being in a party. Right. And I'm like, hey, man, don't do that. Now, I didn't keep him in a wrist lock. I just peeled his arm off of me. It was a mild wrist lock, and I threw his hand off of me.
Oh, shoot.
And it was just like, I'll show you who's boss. You're no one. Get away from me.
Oh, no.
And so, I don't know, for some weird reason, cop didn't like this.
Yeah, who would have thought that, right?
Cop comes in front of me. He's like, hey, what are you doing? So now he's getting all riled up with me.
Right.
The smart thing would be to apologize and just go, oh, I'm sorry, officer. I'm drunk. I just reacted. Something, please forgive me and move on.
Yep.
Yeah, didn't do that.
No, it doesn't sound like it.
So once he pushed me, I immediately pushed him back.
Oh, no.
And I started asking him like, "Oh, you think you think you're better than me? Hey, you got a gun, you got a nightstick. I'll still beat you down."
Oh, no.
And so he's like, "Oh yeah." So he gets in my face, I get in his face, I chop him in the throat. Guy goes down. It's the easiest way to get a guy down on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
That and a knee to the nuts, they're going down. Pretty easy. Soon as this cop falls down, the other cops swarm.
Oh, yeah.
So
they don't do the one by one thing.
They see something is like, what's going on over here? This is not correct. One of our guys is down.
Yep.
They come in at me.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm thinking like, oh, I can take all of you on. It's not a big deal. But again, for some reason, it wasn't a Van Damme movie. They weren't taking their time coming after me. One cop comes after me. He goes to put me, put the arm behind the back. As soon as he did it, I reverse it.
Oh gosh.
I reverse it, take his head, push him into the cop car.
Oh, wow.
Put him into the cop car. Other cop comes at me, bum rushes me from the side.
Ooh.
I start elbowing him.
Oh God.
Other cop comes on me. I start kneeing, and it's just like it's like a melee at this point.
Oh yeah.
They're all coming after me. They're all like, they can't pepper spray me because the other cops are in the way.
Sure.
So they're just like stomping me and trying to beat me and all this stuff. So yeah, probably one of the crazy things I did. more or less because I was under the influence. Usually I'm pretty polite, but I don't know. That day I was just too much testosterone, too young, too stupid, too drunk.
And this is during the time that you were studying martial arts at the time.
It was after I had already been teaching.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I'd been teaching for a while, so I was pretty pumped up on my own capabilities at that point, I guess. And I would tell you that I went to jail, but I did not.
Wow.
They took me somewhere and they explained the situation to me, and then they proceeded to beat me with nightsticks. And in lieu of going to jail, they're just like, look, we can take you downtown, but we're all pretty pissed off, and we don't think we'd be satisfied with that. So, you want to fight us, you can go ahead and fight us. And I have a scar on my left knee before I get hit with a nightstick. But I was just like, worth it. Don't got a record. I get to go to class the next day with a limp. It's fine.
All right. I got a pimp walk. All right, we're good.
So it was some old school justice.
Yeah, that's some pretty old school justice. Like I said, justice is coming to look for you. You don't look for justice, apparently.
Justice came to me that night.
Oh, my God.
I'm just grateful that I didn't get cracked in the skull and none of them shot me. Because they took me, they were driving me, and I thought they were taking me to jail. Mm-hmm. They turned off, and they went to a riverfront where the river area is at, was pretty secluded. And they really could have shot me at that point. But again, the climate wasn't something that, like, I would have thought they would even do that. Sure. It was just like, you're a cop, you can't hurt me. I pay my taxes, pay your bills, or all this stuff. So I didn't think like that back then at the time. I wasn't like a drug dealer or anything like some black dude.
Right.
So I didn't think like, oh, geez, they're gonna shoot me. It was just like, guess what? We want some satisfaction. Yeah. And we're gonna handcuff you, and we're gonna beat the crap out of you, and we're gonna leave you there. So after they basically gave me a I won't say it was a major beatdown. I didn't have to go to the hospital. Right. But it was okay. They all got their licks in, and that's it. They left me there, and I had to walk back to the dorms.
God, man, how am I gonna follow up that, dude? Like really? Like you
But it wasn't even something crazy. Like I ran up the street naked. It was more me being stupid.
You chopped a police officer in the neck to bring him down, and then you had like a whole melee and had like a huge like fist of legend moment.
The chop to the throat was the part I would consider the crazy part. Everything before and after that was just stupid.
Whatever, dude. No, that is just in. I mean, this. I'm assuming this was in. What was this? Probably, yeah. I'm thinking of the Anthony timeline. It was probably Florida time, but
this was in Florida. Yep.
Yeah. So God,
I was in art school.
Oh my God! I see, and like I said, here I am. Like, yeah, and what? Yeah, and did you do a spin kick? What? No. Oh.
Yeah, spin kicks don't work. They work after you've pretty much already won the fight. That's when you want to do a spin kick. You do a spin kick in the middle of a fight, somebody's gonna catch it or avoid it, and
that's called a celebration, that's not a move.
It's something you do to impress the crowd after you've already whooped this person. It's like you don't want to do that when somebody's like alert and waiting for it. It's like this dude did this kick. Those kicks are slow. Yeah. Even if you can do them pretty fast, it's like you can see them a mile away and your leg has to travel. Telegraph. It's like think, and that's it. You're done.
And you're done.
You did after you got a couple hits in, and the guy's kind of dazed, and it's like, spin kick time. The crowd's gonna love this. This is gonna get me laid tonight. And spin kick.
Jesus. I don't know, man. Oh well, my crazy moment in life, or thing that I did. I guess the one thing that really comes to mind. So I'm in tech. I've always been in technology for years, and I know, like I said, this isn't a Van Damme moment. I ended up getting caught stealing at a Navy exchange.
Ooh!
Don't even give me the ooh. This is not even remotely close to getting your ass beat. Like,
I didn't know what this.
No.
Where did you steal from? Did you steal from the military?
I did.
You stole from the military. Yes, you're breaking it off like it's
military.
Nothing.
It was the military. Like, it was like the shopping center. But anyway, what I'm saying is there was ass being involved, but and it was me getting my ass beat by my dad. But the fact is that I was I was young.
It wasn't a government installation. It was just a government outpost.
But no, I mean, like, dude, it's the Navy Exchange. Have you heard of the Exchange before? The Navy Exchange.
Yeah, the Air Force has also got one. If you go to
yeah. So I mean, it's basically
I know it's like their version of Walmart. I get it.
But. Right. So I mean, and back then,
military base.
I know. It was in the 90s. I was in 7th grade. Didn't really have money, obviously. Didn't want to ask my parents for anything because why? I have no idea. Probably because I didn't want to hear them say no. And I had a computer at the time. It was my first computer, and I would at the time, I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 times I got away with it, and I stole like computer games, and like I would just put it in my drawers and like just walk out, and so there was, I remember,
I'm pretty good at this.
Yeah, I'm like, this is not
step up my game.
Well, I mean, back then, like, they didn't have all the software first of all, you couldn't download it. Second of all, it was all in this like, it wasn't even glass cases. It was just in like a little plastic. Sorry, I was just in a little plastic box, and and a little security thing. But I mean, like, you easily just pop them out. So then I'm there, and I'm like, okay, like, all right. So I remember exactly what it was. It was AutoCAD. Why the hell do I need AutoCAD for? Like, for real, I'm a 7.
Awesome.
Dude, all I knew that AutoCAD was, it was a very expensive software. That's exactly what my mindset was. It was like, oh, it's a very expensive software. I'm pretty sure whatever comes about this, I should be able to sell it or do something with it. I don't know.
Nothing else to know. I can fence this.
Yeah, right. No problem, right? So I remember
market's hot for this.
Oh my God. He said, remember, 94, right? So I remember going upstairs to the clothing department. And I remember taking it, and I put the security box into like some like pants or something like that, like hide it in there. And I think somebody saw me, and that was when I was like, oh shoot. And so, needless to say, man, I remember walking down. My mom was about, my mom and I were all about to leave, and like, sure enough, I start walking, and like, I feel this hand come on my shoulder, like boom, like, excuse me, sir. And I was like, oh.
Ooh. Shit. Chill down the spine.
Oh, dude. And they're just like, yeah. And so, they take me in. It was two dudes. Let's see, 7th grade, 13, 14, 13. Is it 13? I don't remember. And I remember, oh man, dude, like, this guy was like this dude, and he had like this really, it was like, he was bald, but then like he had like these really nasty, like puffed up like skin tags. It was gross, dude. And he just was talking about like, why'd you do it, son, and this and that and the other. We caught
Why
you.
did you do it?
I know, right? And my mom was just like mortified, right? And I mean, like, being in a Filipino family, like, like that's like the ultimate badge of shame. Like, you got caught, and it's just like
I'm sorry. Let's pause there for a moment. Ultimate badge of shame. Not that you stole. Right. You got caught.
Exactly.
If you're gonna do something, do it right. If you're going to do something wrong, do it right.
And sure enough, man, like, oh, dude, like, my mom was mortified, and like, my brother was there, and like, we got home, and like, so, and the reason, and not only, of course, obviously, it was, it was bad shame, whatever, like that, but the other thing too is, I believe, if I remember right, I think my dad got docked, like, for pay. For something like this happening. I think it was something like that. And that's why my dad was super just like, what the hell, this.
So wait, the program's like a $600 program at the time?
Dude, at the time, I mean, if I look it up, I'm pretty sure it was close to about $1,000. It was something insane.
It was CAD is pretty. It's like it was like Photoshop alone was like $1,200 brand new.
Oh yeah.
So CAD was pretty
high
expensive. Up there. So they took that out of his check.
Even
though you didn't get away with it?
I don't know what it was. I think it was just docked pay in some respect. I don't remember what it was, but I mean, I just remember that happening. It was super blur, and like, just, needless to say, ass beaten left and right for sure. And then and so the funny thing is that, like, not funny thing, but looking back at it, my parents would, my dad would do like the physical assertion, while my mom was the mental assassin. Like, she was a cerebral assassin, is what I like to call her. And she would, that would hurt more than, I mean, I'd rather take the beating than get my mom to tell me like you did something wrong. And
the verbal waterboarding.
Oh, dude, my mom.
Why did you do it?
Why did you do it? You disappointed us. Like, it's like, like you dishonored your family, and this, that, and the other. And like, it's like a worm. It goes in your brain.
You're not Japanese. No. You're not a Tanaka.
Open your mind.
Never commit to one style. This is why you got caught, Rodel.
I know. And oh my God, I got so, oh man. And I remember my mom would do it, and she would do this. It wasn't just that one time. She would do it multiple days. And so I was grounded. And not only that, so peep this, right? So, get the physical beat down. My mom does a cerebral sessile thing for days. And then on top of that, what do? They change our phone number. They changed your phone number because, back then, you change your phone run, right? And they changed their phone number to the point where like nobody knew what happened to me and my brother. Like it was almost like, what happened to them?
What?
Yeah, like they because people would call us and stuff like that, and it'd be like, your number's not working anymore. And so we would like sneak.
Why did they change the number? I think
part of it was they didn't want our friends to call us because they don't want our friends to call us because back then, like I said, I was did
everybody know about this?
No, nobody knew. That's what I'm saying. Like nobody knew what happened to us. So it was like when people would call our house, it's like, oh, you got the wrong number or whatever like that. And then like later on, we had to call our friends afterwards and be like, hey, look, I got in trouble. This is what happened, blah, blah, blah. And they're just like, oh my God, did you go to jail? Did you do this and blah, blah, blah. And it's this crazy, outcome afterwards. And, thankfully, the punishment lasted for about 2 to 3 weeks tops. And like,
wait, what are you talking about? 2 to 3 weeks? What is this punishment? You were grounded? Or?
Oh, I was grounded to the high heavens.
Because right now I'm imagining like Natalie Portman in V for Vendetta, where you're just thrown into this hole and they shave your head, and you don't mind back then, but it's just like, you failed us.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, remember, it was the metal door. Yeah. Oh yeah. You stay in your room. You don't watch TV. They took away your video games. They did all this stuff. And then one of the punishments that my dad did, super clever of him, right? He bought a flat level pool, right? So flat, pool that goes on flat level. So you can, you basically
above surface,
right?
Above surface. Round ones, yeah.
Yeah. So he does this and he puts it up, and then we fill it up with water, whatever. Nobody uses it for like months, or whatever. Or nobody uses it for a while. And then at one point, my dad's like, okay, we need to take this down so that we can start, we start using the space. My dad gives my brother and I 2 buckets and has us take out the water 1 bucket at a time.
Is that normally how it's done? Don't people just tip them over or something?
You would think so, right? And so I told my dad,
you just push down on the wall and the water pours out.
I told my dad, I go, Dad, can we just he's just like, yeah, sure.
Just sit on the edge of it.
Ain't gonna work, man. No. He wanted us to take out the water.
You're not sitting on the edge of my pool. I paid $70 for that pool.
Oh, and not only, like I said, he wanted us to take it out one by one, the 1 bucket at a time to all the plants.
Here's a spoon, get to work.
That's exactly, or here's a toothbrush and clean the bathroom floor, So, Crazy Sand, that's pretty much what it came down to. And again, it's not as cool as fighting cops.
But we both got the same punishment. We both just got a beat down and some mental torment.
Oh my God, dude, let me tell you, man.
My friends were like, hey, what happened to you? And meanwhile, your family's like, hey, what happened to you?
I know,
you're one of the disappeared ones.
Yeah, I know. Oh man, I think I don't know if my oldest brother was there at the time. Maybe he was. I don't remember. He was in the Philippines at the time, but oh man, that was just something. Even thinking about it now, I'm just like, ooh, it's giving me chills because it's you close your eyes and you just think about you're in that moment sometimes, and you're just like, oh,
that's a cool story though.
Yeah, well,
you stole from a military base.
Yeah, this is definitely the times, man. It was like I said.
See, if you phrase it correctly, it sounds like it one-ups mine, right? I go to somebody say, I hit a cop. And you go, I stole from a military base. Yeah, just because it's military. It sounds badass.
I guess so, man.
People want to hear your story like, whoa.
No, I don't think so. Anyway, all right. moving on. Number 4 in the list of questions. What superpower would you have?
Okay, so this is a mediocre question for me. It's not super easy, and it's not super hard, right? So we have to define guidelines at this point, because we're not asking, which superhero's power would you have, because that could be multiple powers. You're only asking about one superpower, and you got to be set on that.
That's
it's
right.
like, I really want to be immortal, but that's not a lot of power. That benefits me. I don't die, but there's so many things missing from that equation. I can still be crippled. I can still be a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
But I would just live forever with whatever happens to me.
That's right.
So I'm like, that doesn't make me powerful. It just gives me immortality, right?
Right.
So that kind of sucks. So I was giving it some thought, and I'm just like, mind control. Mind control. If I can control everybody, if I can control their mind, I basically run the world, right? So I'm like, if I'm Professor X and I got that one ability where I can freeze people in place, or I can make them say what I want to say or do what I want to do. I mean, I kind of don't need money. I don't need anything, because I basically control everyone. And if I'm not even including Cerebro, where he can tap into people like everywhere. I'm just talking about people in my immediate vicinity. The Purple Man, he also had that kind of ability where they would all have to do what we want them to do, from Jessica Jones.
Yep.
And I was just like, your life is pretty easy if you have that ability, because everybody's just going to give you everything you want. So yeah, that's mine.
Honestly, for me, I think a lot of it is the one power for me is always going to be flying. Simple. Ooh. It's something that I've always, I'm fascinated by not planes, but like just birds and flying.
I do respect that. That's a great power to have.
It's a great power to have. It's something that you can get out of situations. You can, make yourself look cool. You can, do one of these or
what's that? You want to rob me? Fly away.
Fly away. Exactly.
What's that? Earthquake? Cool. Fly away.
Fly away. Yeah. So I mean, it's something that it's a very simple superpower, but at the same time, it's very versatile, and you can definitely, keep yourself away from things, or you can, or you can do the velocity thing and just go, whoosh, and then, and beat down on somebody if you really wanted to. But
how do you think that works, by the way? Do you think when you're flying, do you just think, I want to fly faster, and it makes you go faster? Do you think it's a muscle thing? Like,
I think it's a muscle thing.
Flying faster.
I think, because
there's no muscle that can make you fly, right? It's only jumping.
Right. And I think it's a muscle thing, because if you look at Superman, right, like he'll fly in place, but then like as soon as he like puts himself in like fly mode, like this, like puts his fist forward and whatnot, then it's a muscle, and he just goes. My assumption, it's either that or you just do this, but I mean, even then, like
I always took it as a mental thing.
Mental,
like lifting an object with your mind, right? You're lifting yourself, and then you're just concentrating to go faster.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. So that's my thing. I just feel like flying, So with that being said, I think the last question that we have here is a doozy, but I think that we can do it. What is the single most important thing you want to pass on before you die?
All right, so this is one of those harder ones, because I have like a couple of them, and you could only stick with the one. And the way I interpreted this was like, what are people going to read on your tombstone?
Sure.
Because that's the last message you can possibly give.
Yep.
People are still visiting it after you've already died, and they're taking this one message like, huh, okay.
Right.
That's what this guy was about. And I can learn from this, or there's some kind of value taken away from this. And so I was back and forth on a lot of things, and I had dabbled with some, like, it is what it is,
right?
Like, so, like, hey, get over it. Like, life is, it's, you can get what you get out of it, but we're all limited to like this span of time. And then I was just like, no, I wasn't satisfied with that. So the one that I came up with was, I win.
Wait, say it again.
I win.
What do you win? Tell them what you won.
Exactly.
No way. So you want to put on your tombstone, or you want people to think I win?
Yes.
Or is it I win as in like, the phrase, or Anthony won? So you want to pass on to people that, I win. Like, okay, I win. I win too. Do you win? Do I win? We all win. All right. Anyways, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it actually doesn't have any meaning to it.
Apparently. I'm thinking about it.
The only point behind it is that you're giving it so much thought.
Oh my God.
So somebody's going to walk up to my tombstone and they're going to look at it and go, it says I win. What did he win at? Who was this guy? Maybe I can Google him real quick. Was he the best of something? Was he an Olympic champion? No, he's not under the Olympics. Yeah, so my basic premise is to fuck with people.
Apparently. Jesus.
Because look how much thought you gave it just from me saying it. Like, why would you say that? What does that mean? What did he win at? Is he better than me? Is that what he's trying to say?
Apparently you won.
Yeah, so my last message is a joke.
Yes.
Basically. It's just like, you know what?
Seems like it.
I want you to do two things. Number one, I want you to lighten up, and I want you to think about things and not take anything too seriously, because I could almost guarantee if I had that on my tombstone. And it was funny because I always told my daughter, like, hey, if you die before me, I'm going to take a picture in front of your tombstone and say I win because I outlived you. And I thought, like, if I put that on my tombstone, people are like, what does that mean? And I was like, you know what, if I can get people to think about their own life or about my life after I'm dead, I've accomplished something. I'm still accomplishing something after I've died, because people are giving it so much thought, even though it doesn't really mean anything.
Wow. Okay. How much thought did that really take you, though? Like, for real? Because it
was mediocre. It was a little bit of thought, but not like so much like, yeah, that's the answer. I want to fuck with people.
Well, then, I guess that's quite comical.
I'm sure you have something more profound than I do.
I don't.
My ambition in life is just to mess with people after I die, because then it's almost like I'm still alive messing with people.
Well, I mean, like, you have the stories and all the other stuff. I mean, me personally, if it was coming down to the most important thing that I want to pass on, at least if I'm going to pass on to like my son or anybody for the matter, it really is just about enjoy everything that you have. I think if I were to put something on my tombstone, it would definitely be something, that says enjoy. And meaning,
I like that. One word,
enjoy. And it's just like, enjoy what? Enjoy your life, enjoy,
But
happiness,
see, you don't even
whatever.
have to infer much. You're looking at a tombstone and it's saying enjoy to someone who is obviously alive to read it. Right. That is genius, dude.
I don't know. Honestly, it's really just, you get the cards that you're dealt with. And, I think that you really have to take what you get and make the best out of it. And, again, this goes back to, I thing, or, getting caught stealing, or, or like you get cheated on, or whatever the case is. I know it sucks, for a lot of different things, but at the same time, like there's other parts in life where you just like, just enjoy it. I remember before I met my wife, like it was like the worst year. It was just like I have a younger brother who's autistic, and I didn't buy him like a specific gift that my parents wanted to get him, and like he acted up during the Christmas time, and like I just felt horrible because it was just like he was acting up and having a tantrum, and like I found out later on that like my ex-girlfriend that I was with cheated with my best friend at the time.
Whoa.
And they ended up getting together, and now they have kids and whatever like that, and it's just like, okay, cool, this is pretty terrible. And then like I remember also during that time too, I was at the casino with my brother and his wife, and I was happy for them, don't get me wrong, but I remember I left a machine to go to them because we're about to leave, and sure enough, sure enough, as soon as the next person hit that machine on the Wheel of Fortune, hit the wheel, hit $1,000. I was like, oh. And then on top of that, my brother puts like $5 in a dollar machine, wins $5. $5,000, just like that. I was so I mean, I was happy for them, but I was so salty. Like I was just.
Yeah, I can help you with this one. I've designed a lot of the slot machines in the casinos.
Right.
Okay, so you would have never won that money.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
It's down to the millisecond at this point. And back in
Right.
the day, it used to be down to the second when you hit the button, and now the technology is better. It's down to the millisecond.
Sure.
Chances are you were not going to hit that button at the exact time to win that jackpot. But,
yeah, that's true. But at the same, I mean, like, but you never know, right? And so I remember this was like, down moment, just like, man,
yeah, you felt like crap about it.
You
like,
felt, I felt terrible.
That was my money.
That was my money.
Girlfriend.
That was mine. That was this. That was that.
I had this whole life planned out.
Oh my. Oh well. I mean, no. Trust me. That was a bullet dodge. Trust me. But yeah. Like, but I mean, at the same time, like, it was.
I'm gonna win.
You're never gonna get me, copper. No. But it was just a lot of stuff. And so I remember after that, after all those bad things happened, it's just like, you know what? Like, I still have my friends, my family's still alive, like my parents are still alive. All these things, like, you take for granted, but you're looking at yourself going, man, dude, like, my parts of my life really suck right now. But later on, you move on, you move forward, you have to keep going, keep trucking. I hated my job at the time too. After that, I think it was May. Yeah, it was May. I went to Chicago. And I went to Chicago with my family. We saw my cousin get married. And then literally like a week or two later, I guess I put an ad out on Craigslist, believe it or not. Ad on Craigslist, and my wife answered. Magic happened.
Yeah, wait. You're telling me you put an ad on Craigslist for what? Like looking for love?
Looking for love. It was men seeking women.
Looking for love in all the wrong places.
And
this is the first story I've heard of someone putting an ad on Craigslist and finding love, or a job, or decent furniture.
Decent furniture? No.
There's nothing decent to be found on Craigslist most of the time.
Back then,
you sound telling me you found a good woman in a new life, so I'm just like, Craigslist?
What? I know. Trust me, man. You know what? No one would ever believe me either. And I always tell people, it's just like, I guarantee you will not figure out where I met my wife. And sure enough, it's like, oh,
I would not have even guessed that. Like,
no, you would have lost $10,000.
Find painters and prostitutes on Craigslist. You cannot find a decent life there.
Oh man, if we had the best, if we had the friend game, you would have definitely lost, bro. Like, trust me, it was very interesting to say the least. And sure enough, man, I wrote some stuff on. It was more about complaining because I was talking about my ex, but I was also talking about just decent women in San Diego. And believe it or not, it was.
And that wooed her?
Not only, no, it didn't woo her. It got her interested because she's just like, no, like, I'm from Chicago. I'm, this and that, and she's not shallow, whatever the case is. And sure enough, like, started chatting it up and met her one day, and then I met her the next day.
No. You're running past this like it's all so casual.
I know.
So this was a reverse psychology situation. Like, there are no decent women in San Diego, and blah 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 blah. And she's like, wait a minute, I'm a decent woman, blah blah. And she fell for that, or
she fell for it, man. Hook, line, and sinker, man. I was like, gotcha. So, I don't know if she fell for it or not, but I mean, well, we're married now, obviously, but we have a child together. But yeah, man, that's how it went down. But back to the conversation or the topic at hand or the question, enjoy. Like, you never know what's going to happen. And so, if I were to pass on anything to anybody with my son or anybody, it's just enjoy. And whether it be enjoying life or enjoy what you're doing, do whatever it takes. Keep positive, man. That's all there is, man.
That is way better than my answer, because
no, I win. I win. I want to win.
Because the thing is that yours has levels to it, right? Because it's like, enjoy life in general. But also, if you're going through some kind of hardship, you're looking at the tombstone of a dead person who's saying, enjoy it. Enjoy the hardship because you're not dead.
Right.
Enjoy the good times. Enjoy the bad times. Enjoy whatever it is because you're alive.
Right.
There's still change that can happen. you can do something different. There's like all these possibilities and opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you're feeling and whatever you're going through, enjoy that because you're not dead. And so
Right.
all these, dude, I love that so much. That's way better than my answer.
I don't know. I still like I win because you like to mess with people. So that's but I love, but like I said, I love comedy. So that's the way it goes. So yeah, that's a top 5. We're now granted that these are different questions, but we're going to look at a lot of different topics. And I think the next episode, we're going to look at top 5 albums of all time. And the reason why I wanted to choose this was because I just bought a record player, and I've been asking a lot of folks, what would be your top 5 vinyl that you would own? Because listening to vinyl is a process. It's not, listening to Spotify where I'm like, oh, I don't like this song, go to the next. Oh, I don't like this song, go to the next. Or like, oh, I don't like this artist, I'm going to go to the next. When you pop in a record, you are dedicated to listen to that record the entire way because you are not going to get your ass up and move that needle over to the next track. Mm-mm. And if you
and
do
it gave
that,
me some perspective because I was just like, it's easy if you're spoiled by CDs, we can skip a track.
Right.
And it's easy if you're spoiled by digital music because you can skip a track.
Right.
But if you had to listen to a song, an album from beginning to end, right? You play it and it's like, oh, I hope the next one's better than this. Oh, I hope the next one's better than this.
Mm-hmm.
You got to find albums that are like pretty solid albums, right? Where you're just like, I don't have to touch it. It just plays and it's good stuff.
Yep, exactly. So I'm hoping that we get some good feedback out of that. But yeah, that's us. So again, my name is Rodel.
Anthony.
And we're signing off. And I hope you guys enjoyed listening to this. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.